Hello there, you can see I've got a new table. I got it from next door. It's a smaller one than the one I've got in there. Mine comes out too far, so the dogs can't jump up from the floor, but this one's small enough that they can get around it, and I can get around it. So I was just going to do a video. I thought, this is really funny, right? Me and my two doggies are all going through the menopause, right? So at this point, all the men should just walk away because they can't handle women things. But it's really funny because I joined a menopause support group on Facebook a couple of years ago, and I think it was because I was getting wrinkles and stuff, and I thought, how do you get rid of them, and is it all to do with that? So I joined that group, and I often look at the comments, and most of the women on there are really struggling with stuff like physical ailments and depression and tiredness and mood swings and all this sort of stuff. And I'm thinking, gosh, I'm lucky me, because I haven't had any problems at all. I've just sailed through it. You know, I'm coming through the other side with no problems at all. And I was thinking about it, then I just burst out laughing, and I thought, Kelly, you and Honey Girl, my doggy Honey Girl, she's going through it as well, because my two doggies are 14, right? They're both girls. So as far as I'm concerned, they're in menopause as well, because they're in the later years. And I thought, because Honey and Bonnie are both reflections of my personality, right? So Honey Girl is the serious side of me that likes to debate and go, what are you talking about? And she likes to analyse everything to death. She's very much like me. And then Bonnie is the zany side, that I'm never going to grow up type, you know, and she's still like a puppy. And I was looking at them thinking, you're around the same sort of age as me in dog years, right? So we're all going through this menopause thing together. And I couldn't stop laughing because I was thinking, look at Honey Girl's behaviour. She's become very belligerent, like. She takes me on all the time. She doesn't get nasty with me at all, but she'll just ignore me when I'm talking. And one of the latest tricks that she's got is pretending to be deaf and blind, right? And I've noticed she's playing this, because I thought, is she losing her hearing and her sight? But I've been watching her, and she knows I've been watching her, so she gives me the side eye, you know. And I thought, you little beggar, you're pretending you can't hear me. She always hears me when I say, do you want a treat? Or what do you want to do? If I say the words to Honey Girl, what do you want? Then she will get up straight away and go to the door, or she'll come home or whatever. So she'll lead the way. So she does hear me, and she knows what she wants, and she'll show me. But if I tell her what I want, and that is, right, we're going out now, sometimes she'll just look as if to say, I don't think so. And I'm like, where have you got this from? This new belligerent behaviour? And I was watching her, and then I thought, oh my gosh, she's got it from me. And I couldn't stop laughing. And I thought, oh my gosh, all three of us are going round twist here. So we were playing out other day, and Honey Girl did a standoff and said, I'm not playing, I've had enough. And she just sat there staring at me. And then Bonnie were throwing things up in the air saying, let's play. So I went off to play with Bonnie, and then Bonnie saw Honey Girl doing that and then thought, I'm going to do that. So then she stood there and said, no, I'm not playing now. So I stood in the middle, and it was cold, and I'm saying, right, what are we doing then? Are we playing a game? Going for a walk? What are we doing? And Honey Girl just sat there and went, on me like that. And I'm like, wow. So she really did get really belligerent. But then Bonnie started copying, and I just couldn't stop laughing. And I went, oh my gosh. They have got that side of me where we are just all had it. We've had enough. We're not going to be told what to do by anybody. It's our way or no one's way. So there's three of us doing it. And I thought, oh gosh, I just find it funny. I don't have any like physical symptoms other than my change of attitude. And I always used to be a people pleaser, and if somebody had a problem and they said, "Oh, blah blah," I'd go, "Oh, sorry, you know, what do you want me to do?" And they'd say, "I didn't," and right, okay. But now, if somebody comes up to me and says, "Oh," I'll go, "What about it?" And they're like, "Pardon?" And I go, "Well, what do you want me to do about it?" And I've become like that. And I thought, my gosh, Kelly, I remember my gran. When I was a child, I was terrified of my nana because she was so hard. She was so hard that even men were scared of her. And she was the sort of woman who never got abused by anyone because everyone was scared of her because she was so hard. But I remember her always being like that. Always. But sometimes I think, am I turning into my nana? Can you get to a point where you've done with caring about what people think? I don't care about your opinion. I don't care what you want me to do. If I don't want to do it, the answer's no, and that's the end of it. Do you know, during the I don't like saying the words because I've noticed on a few of my videos they got actually taken down because I used certain words that were seemed political, and so they removed the videos, and then I got a strike. I got a strike on my video channel because I mentioned LOCKDOWN, and I said something political about it, and they took my video down and then give me a strike, and they still haven't removed it. It's still there. It's ridiculous. So you've got to watch what you say. It's so, because I am a very deep person and I've got a lot of opinions about things, because I like researching stuff and watching other people's opinions and stuff. But you've got to a point in our society where you can't say what you want online. But I am doing it more face to face. But that will soon become a thing of the past because they won't be allowed to do that either at some point. That's where we're heading. But anyway, I'm getting political again now. I wanted to keep it funny because I think we change all the time in our lives from one season to another season. And I don't know if it's guaranteed you're going to go a certain way if you're a certain character, because I've seen lovely people become bitter, and I've seen bitter people become chilled and relaxed in older age. You can swing either way. You can either become bitter at the world and fed up of everyone and everything and start being snappy, or you might just say, what you know, just let it go. Just chill with it. I'm not bothered anymore. You know, I've lived my life and all this. But it is funny. It's the dogs. How they've mimicked me. How have my dogs become a version of me. Them two puppies are a part of me. And when I look at them, I see myself and think, Kelly, you're going to have to start reeling this in, because we're all going to be the most belligerent people you've ever seen, you know. But it's funny. But I don't know anybody else going through the menopause, really, because I don't talk to women. I don't know anybody personal up here that I hang around with, so I can't ask questions and say, is it normal to become... I wouldn't say that I'm moody. I'm a human being and I have moods like everybody, but they're not dark and miserable. They're sort of like just come with the wind, you know, come and go, and they're usually for a reason. So I'm not having like mood swings for nothing, so I can't say it's hormonal. But I don't know what it is, and I know that I'm going through a different phase of my life, because I know that now, at the age that I'm at, that I don't want to be with anybody anymore. It's like a switch went off with the last one, and I just thought, why am I doing this? Why am I putting my energy into people that don't stick around and they don't want me to be me? I am who I am, and I also don't have the patience for them. So I know that this part of my life now is literally a different phase, which is leading to old age. When you think about it, 55 the next phase of my life, the next 10 years or so, I'm going to start getting older. I don't think I'd be an old 65-year-old, because mentally I am young, but you just don't know. You don't know what your body's going to do. You don't know what time's going to do to you. But there's definitely changes in the air right now, and I can feel them. But I'm not the same person I was, even when I came here 5 years ago to this park. I have changed in 5 years. Some people would argue it's for the worse. Some people would say, well, it's about time. It just depends on who and what dealings you have. But I don't know. I feel quite excited though. I feel like there's changes in the air and the positive. You know, apart from dealing with things around you that you can't change, like the environment, the weather, the state of the world, you know, the political stuff. There's a lot of things you can't do anything about. I just don't comply with orders and stuff like that. But I don't know. I think you get to an age where you just... Is this the age where you actually come into yourself? Is this the time when you've got no partner, no children that are around you now, because they've all grown? So you've got no dependents. You don't have to go all out for somebody else anymore, so now it's your time. But what do you do with it? I've seen people just retire and then just shut the door on the world and just sit in front of a TV, and to me they're already dead when they've done that, because they've literally just given up all the... There's no gusto and enthusiasm. And then there's other people who are like, fantastic, I've just retired, yes, let's go and travel and let's do this and that, and they just come out of themselves. But is this phase going to be a positive or negative? And will I achieve the things I've put off for 55 years because I've been too busy looking after other people, doggies, houses, just trying to keep alive, you know? And all my hobbies and interests were all put on the back burner. But now I can do them. All of them. Whatever I imagine now, I can have it. If I decide that I'm going to go and live somewhere else, I can go and live wherever I want. Because I can do that. You know, Paul will have the dogs, or they can come with me if it's a dog-friendly place. But I can literally go and live wherever I want. I can do what I want. If I want to learn a new hobby and go to college, I can go to college. I can do anything. There's nothing to stop you at any age. I don't think age should stop anybody learning a new skill. So I would still go to college now and learn something new. I'm actually doing something new right now, behind the scenes, which will come to light some point in the future. It's going to take me, the way that my head's blagged with it, it's going to take me a few months to get to a point where I can do it properly and be confident with it. But it's basically another YouTube channel, and the only thing that's holding me back at the moment is technical stuff. That's what I have to learn about, video editing. I have to get a new laptop or something, cameras, microphones and all the rest of it, and rigged up with proper lighting and everything, and then I've got things to do with that. But I've got a great idea for a channel, and I've got content that I can do, and I've been writing down lots of things about what I'm going to be talking about on there and stuff, so that'll be interesting. But I'll only plug it when I've got maybe 10 videos up, because what I want to do is just keep it a private channel until there's enough content for people to get into it, and then I'll keep doing that. But I've also got other things going on behind the scenes, again, learning, but I'm having to do it all in bite size because my brain can't comprehend too much learning at once. Even at school, I was never good at picking things up that I've got no interest in. I might have an interest in a topic, like for example, I love writing, but when it comes to the editing and the grammar checks and everything else, I'd need someone to do that for me. Then you've got your publishing and then the marketing and all the rest of it. And there's so much involved in it. It's not just a case of just sit there and write. It's got to have context and it's got to be padded out, and you've got to turn a little story into a big one. And so I find it difficult to do it. And if I had somebody with me who was that way inclined, who was trained in this way, they could show me what you can do with it, you know. Because I was looking at a video yesterday, the Golden Girls, I love them. And this was the commentary part of it, and that Rue McLachlan, I think she was called, she said for the Golden Girls there were 12 writers involved in that programme. 12, not just one. I always thought it was one woman who wrote it, and it was 12. And she said, and there were 11 of them were men, and they were young men, and one was a woman. And she said it was really good how they did it, because they were all young men, and you wouldn't think they'd have anything at all knowledgeable about older women, because the Golden Girls was about 4 women. But they all had mothers and aunts and grandmas and stuff, and that's where they got the stuff from. But it was a team of people who did it. And I thought, with my writing, with the right person, I can put my writings together and write some books. But I keep getting my family going, why don't you just write your book? Thinking you can just sit there and go, all right, okay, you get a pen and paper and just write it like that, and then next thing it's published. But there's a massive process to getting there, and I don't. So what I'm doing, bite-sized pieces of everything, just to learn a little bit until your head starts melting, stop, go and do something else, and then come back another time. So that's how I'm learning. So I think I'm going to have to just get new software and stuff and learn how to do the editing properly, because the channel that I'm going to be doing is going to be mostly voiceover stuff, and I can't wait to show it. But it's always better to wait until you've got it established. Don't do anything until then, you know. So yeah, I'm going to go. I'm feeling a bit tired. I've been working all day. Do 6 hours a day of digging all day for 6 hours. So you constant raking. So basically on the pictures, digging the weeds up, raking them, and then in a couple of weeks I'm going to go around all the pictures I've done and pick all the weeds up, put them in bags into my car, and then go and dump them on the compost. But it's really physical work, and I think you're 55, you're still working like a 20-year-old, which is good, because I'm fitter than I look. But you can't do this in your maybe 60s, certainly not 70s, and the way things are going, I don't think anybody my age is going to even retire, because I don't think there'll be a retirement age. I think they'll just say work till you die, because they keep changing the goalposts. I think it's 67 now. So I've still got 12 years. God, when you say that doesn't sound long. That does not sound long, does it? When you think I've been in Scotland for 10 years and it's gone by in a heartbeat. You know, I'm looking at some of my videos earlier on, like the first one I did 10 years ago on YouTube. It doesn't seem 10 years ago. So 12 years till retirement is quite, well, will it be? That will have changed it again to 76 by that point, but could I still be doing a physical job like this at 65? I don't know. Actually, do you know what? I remember saying this when I was in my 20s, because I've always done physical work. And I remember being at the school where I worked, and we were all working really hard, and we were lifting all the chairs up off floor and putting them on the table and scrubbing everything down, and we were all tired when we finished the shift. And I remember turning around saying, I wonder if I'll be able to do this when I'm 50. And we all burst out laughing and went, oh, we'll be all clapped out by then. There's no way I'll be doing this when I'm that age. Oh my God, I'll no. And I remember, and now I'm 55 and I am doing that job. I haven't slowed down, or I can't help it. When I work at one speed, and the amount of times over the years where I've worked with somebody half of my age and they've said, slow down for God's sake, and I can't. I have got ADHD, but yeah, it's quite funny. So probably I will still be digging at 65. But this is why I'm doing the side hustle things. I'm not making any money because I'm only in the training stage, right? But I'm hoping to get to a point where I can earn enough doing the side hustles, which are all passive incomes once you've got them established. And if you can get to that point, then you can sit back a bit more and I can go more part-time and just have the money coming in from other revenues, because I think I'm getting to a point now where I should be thinking you can't just rely on one income. You know, when you live by yourself, you've only got you. And if you've only got one income and that job is reliant on your health and you lose that, you're screwed. You know, the only reason I'm living in my van here is because it's part of the package of my job. If I didn't work here, I would have to take my van somewhere else or sell the van and do something else. But I could never afford to go back to where I came from. When I closed the door on living in a house, I've never been able to afford to live in a house since I left. So if I wasn't living in my van and I didn't have staff accommodation with a job, I would have no choice but to do a house share with other people. And I've done a flat share a few years ago in Auburn, and it worked okay, but long term that would become very stressful because you've only got like your bedroom to yourself and then you're sharing everything else. So I need to be making enough money now for my future so that if I get to a point where I'm struggling and I can't have my van where I want it and stuff like that, I want my own land, and that is my dream, and I will get it. I feel that in my bones. I will get my own land. You've just got to keep working towards something and don't give up on it, but I've always felt that I will get it. And when I do, then I'm going to have statics on there and I'm going to have a small community. People like me, so it'll be crazy. But I'm going to go, because what time is it? It's nearly 7 o'clock at night now. And it is so dark outside. It will be nice when the days are longer again, I think, because you get more out of your day. Right now I feel like I could just go to bed and just put, you know, a film on and just fall asleep, but it's 5 to 7. In summer I'll be still zinging at 11 o'clock at night. Right, I'm going to go, shut Kelly. I hope you're all okay.